Viva Las Vegas, baby. Let's go. Let the drinks start flowing. It's early morning.
Man, I'm so hungover. Can you believe how hungover you are? And it's only, what is it, only 8 o'clock here in Las Vegas, or is it 9 o'clock?
It's 8:20. It's 8:20. Or it's 9:20 in Las Vegas. Who knows? Who cares? Time is a flat circle in Las Vegas.
It was super generous of Mark to invite us to come hang out with him here in Las Vegas. You know, unfortunately, he's still out with the blow and the hookers, or was he going to church? I can't remember.
I think it was. That's the club is called Church, and there are blow.
Right.
And
it was a pool party. Yeah. I mean, it's so crazy being here for the NCAA tournament too.
Right. It's something. Oh, I just had some sort of. I had, when you're on ESPN app and all of a sudden a video will just start playing out of nowhere, and I just thought that was going to be in the background, and that's because I got distracted here in Vegas because there's just so many bells and whistles, crazy.
There's just all these people like flicking these cards of naked girls at me, and I don't know what to do anymore.
Let it ride on black. That's what they say.
When's the last time you were in Las Vegas?
It was probably for a bachelor party, and it was, I think, James Bacoon's bachelor party. We went and we all made shirts with James's head on mini-me's from Dr. Evil's body. We went to pool party rocking those.
Obviously.
Big hit. It was fantastic. When's the last time you were in Vegas?
I was in Vegas in 2011. I think that's the last time I was there. I went there for spring break for 5 days, which is the dumbest fucking thing you could ever possibly do.
Way too long, way too expensive.
The expensive thing wasn't that bad. I was still in college. Obviously, we were doing it kind of, on the cheap. I mean, we still had enough for a suite and all that. It's just, that is so way too long to be in Las Vegas ever.
3 days is too long to be in Las Vegas.
I give it a day, and I could last a day and a half now, I think. No, wait, that isn't it. That's not even the last time. My brother had his wedding there. That was in 2015. Holy shit. And I remember trying to teach my wife how to play blackjack, and it's 2 a.m. and I'm shit-faced. And I'm talking to the dealer, and I'm like, I want to double down on this. And it's like the worst hand of all time. And she's like, no, you don't. You don't want to do that. I'm like, I know what I fucking said. And she, you know how like when you're about to make a really stupid bet, they have to yell to the pit boss. So there's no argument after you eventually lose the hand.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, this guy's doubling down on like a 6 and a 4. It was so fucking stupid. But
yeah, no, you're not really great at learning games when you're absolutely trashed. Hence Civ. We played Civ for the first time. I tried to explain to you how to play that game. The most advanced, in-depth water hose. You like learning through a fire hose type of game. I thought you were somewhat cognizant.
There you go.
Good Lord.
It's early. It's early here in Vegas.
Yeah, and I'm still hungover. Jeez Louise. But from the way you were playing, I was trying to explain this thing, and now I know how you feel when you're talking to me on regular things. It's just I explained it to you like 5 times, and then I was being nice, and then I'm like, something's not clicking.
You're like, hey, idiot! It's that button you just hovered over for 30 seconds.
Yeah, continuously. This is you keep hitting the same button, but
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I will say though, the last time I went to Vegas, I paid for our trip by winning at blackjack. So I'm not that stupid. If I already know what I'm doing, then like math will still work in my head, but learning something new, not a chance.
Yeah. Ciao.
I will forget my own phone number, my own address. But so how happy are you with Andy Dalton as your new franchise quarterback, Brick?
Well, looking for that number 1 pick. So I think at this point we should have just tried to trade the house for an actual good quarterback. With Andy Dalton coming to the roster, we had to cut Kyle Fuller, the Pro Bowl quarterback or cornerback. So now it's like we had to get rid of a
all pro, meaning that he's one of the 2 best in the league.
Yeah. So if we could have traded him and gotten some value rather than just cutting him, that would have been probably more ideal. We were already looking to trade 3 first rounds and 2 starters to get Russell Wilson, or I don't know, Deshaun Watson. They're not even taking calls apparently, but he's in a little bit of trouble at this point. So maybe they'll start answering the phone about getting a trade and getting him out of Houston. At this point, it's too late though. It doesn't matter. The Bears are going to suck. The Bears are going to be the Bears. They're going to pick Andy freaking Dalton, and we're going to get the first pick in the draft and then botch it again.
Do you think they could even be bad enough to get the first pick in the draft? I mean, there's still a lot of teams out there that are intentionally tanking on the regular.
I don't know if you have seen the 2021 Bears schedule, but it is a full nightmare. I'm pulling it up right now.
Well, you still get the Lions twice, so
yes. So Jared Goff, we get 2 wins out of Jared Goff. We'll probably split one with Minnesota. But we play the Lions, Green Bay, Minnesota, Arizona, Niners, Baltimore, Bengals, Giants, Browns, Lions, Packers, Rams, Steelers, Seahawks, and Tampa Bay.
That's almost all playoff teams.
I know. So the only ones that weren't playoff teams were Detroit, classic. We had 2 games against them.
Detroit.
New York almost went to the playoffs because that division is trash. Bengals, we play them. It looks like the week that Joe Burrow just might be back, which would be classic. Niners are a great team. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but they were they just had a zillion injuries. Cardinals just got AJ Green, which is nothing, but Cardinals are just a good team. I feel they're going to be tough they're going to be a tough beat. And then just the Packers twice. We're going to get the first pick in the draft. With Andy Dalton at the helm. Ciao.
How close at any point does it cross your mind that you're just not going to be a fan of a certain team anymore? Like how inept does the ownership / management have to be? Because I was talking, I mean, numerous people this week were like, I'm so done with this team. I'm not even going to watch them play this fall. And I called one of them out on Twitter. Thomas, I know you're listening to this.
I saw that. That's no way you're not watching football.
That's what I mean. Like, they have such a death grip on your throat. Like, you will watch regardless, even if it's just so that you can get angry about what you're seeing on TV.
Well, that's what fantasy football is for. That gives you the escape. You create your own team, more or less. And the Bears are going to be the Bears. It is what it is. The lower the expectation, there's zero expectation for the Bears this year. I mean, you heard the schedule. You saw the roster moves they made. It's
not good.
The smartest thing that I saw was Kyle Long retiring from the Bears because he saw where that franchise was headed because he hates Matt Nagy. And he's like, oh, I'll just go retire for 2 years and then go sign with the Chiefs. Brilliant move.
Smart move. But you can only do that if you're like some kind of wily veteran. So, okay.
Well, he retired early, I feel.
He did, but also he was perpetually injured and
he needed a break.
Kind of undersized for the positions that he was trying to play. But I digress. I feel as though the chat room is getting a little agitated that we're still talking sports. So let's jump to something nerdy instead, shall we?
Let's do it.
I was showing you this morning. I was in tears watching this last night as I'm in bed about to go to sleep, and my wife has already passed out, and she just rolls over and she eventually had to tell me to shut the fuck up because this is the dumbest thing of all time. But I died laughing for so long. This was posted 2 months ago by a YouTuber named Joe Arenas. This guy only has 400 subscribers, but he posted this gold video that I had never seen before last night. So let's listen in here.
Green Ranger on site.
Look, man's cleared the Zord in one jump. He really wanted to beat the ass. Look how he break in. On site. This is the definition of on site. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that phrase. If you're black, you know what I'm talking about. But on site, this is what that means. Nigga, as soon as I see you on the street, and guess who catches the hand first? Everybody look crazy. The Yellow Ranger, she ain't know what she was walking herself into. Look at this shit. Hands. Merry Christmas. You get hands for Christmas. Fucked up
the old Power Rangers.
Put them out their own car. How you put somebody out their own whip so you can beat their ass in the daylight. He said, I need space to beat y'all ass. Look at this shit. Michael Jackson. Feet. Hands. Look at this bitch slap. Bitch. Look at that. Come on, dog. This nigga hit her with the pimp slap. He wound up for that shit. Bitch. Come on, son. Feet. What kind of disrespectful combination?
The way it ends is so perfect too. Oh man, I want that guy to narrate my entire life.
Yeah, put him on everything and just let him explain what's going on. I'm super sold on that on site. I didn't know what that meant until until he explained it, which is hilarious.
I'm wrestling my 10-month-old son, and I'm like trying to get the diaper off of him because he shit his pants. I want that guy telling me. I want the play-by-play from him.
Yeah, your kid just shitting all over you, and then him just telling you, I'm done. On site. Peace. I'm gonna on site myself right now.
But it's such a it brings you back in history, like to Power Rangers when you were a kid, and thinking about how like you would watch it, be like, this is the best fucking choreography I've ever seen in my entire life. And then you watch back, and it's like they're throwing punches that are a foot away from each other,
bitch slapping people. That was so good. Yeah, and that makes me want to go back and rewatch it.
Power Rangers. I know Azrael's here. He's always reading the comic books and watching the new shows and shit. I mean, it's a property that's never going to die, and I'm glad. You know, I had all the toys and shit. I had Green Ranger's Dragon Zord. Fuck yeah. So
when did Green Ranger come into play? Was he obviously he was fighting all the Power Rangers then, but like when were they like, all right, Jason, you're out, Tommy, you're in, peace?
So I think that was like the first appearance of Green Ranger. I'm not really a historian on this because I've never gone back and revisited. I'm sure Azrael could tell us. He's in the chat. He says, he's talking about how the comics are a little bit darker than the show. That makes sense. And also, I think that as they went along, it got a little darker. You know, like when they started ramping up to like the movies and shit. I mean, it's still campy and everything, but nothing will ever touch the original. But to your original question, he just showed up and was basically like, hey, I'm stronger than y'all. He just alphaed them and was like, I'm a new fucking leader.
Yeah, no, he beat all 5 of their asses and just fought them on site. It was great.
No, on site. I love those videos.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I gotta find a drop. Fuck.
News to us. Boop.
That's always painful, and I'm never ready for it. Oh shit, Panda's wondering where Mark is. Yeah, we're all in Las Vegas right now because we got invited, as you do, for the NCAA tournament, and Mark is still hungover / in church, or I don't know. He's just not here.
As you can see, we're in the same rooftop with the exact same picture. Definitely the same picture. Don't look at the Eiffel Tower in the background.
Well, I mean, granted, you're like 4 feet to the left of me, but
right. Yeah,
definitely that checks out. Touch you right now. If no, okay. We just you couldn't see it was off. It was off screen.
I tried to do it, but I used the wrong arm. I did this.
You're just patting yourself on the back. Jesus, what a train wreck.
Yeah.
All right. I sent you some trailers last night. And the question of the week is, what if Sasquatch was actually a murderer in the Pacific Northwest?
I'm all for it. I was like, wait, is this a documentary or a mockumentary? I couldn't tell.
So this is it. I had the same thought, and apparently this is directed by the Duplass brothers, and they do actual documentaries, or they have done actual documentaries. But I was really curious when I watched this too. I had the same thought, like they're definitely making fun of these people, but it has serious underlying questions that need to be answered. And people, okay, so in Northern California and like Southern Washington, around there's what they call the Emerald Triangle, which is where they grow more pot in the US than anywhere like in the rest of North America. And I've seen other documentaries talking about like the murders that go on up there, because obviously you're dealing with drugs and there's some shady shit that goes on down there. And
it's like a all wilderness, easily hide a body over there.
The Pacific Northwest forestry is so thick. And that's why, you know, whenever you hear Sasquatch, generally it's Pacific Northwest, because that's where it's feasible that Bigfoot could exist and still move around freely and never be caught or tracked accurately.
Or seen.
So the premise of this is that these people are basically blaming disappearances of humans on Sasquatch.
Well, isn't that just a very convenient? Oh, I murdered Tommy, but actually, I mean, Sasquatch murdered Tommy, and he's in the woods now, and no one can find him because Sasquatch is brilliant at hide and seek. That's my alibi to the police.
Mo's in the chat. I think she lives up in this area, or used to maybe, but she's talking about how it's like a marketing tactic that they have these Sasquatch. Like it's like a tourist trap. It's like Loch Ness. Nobody goes to Loch Ness for the scenery. They go because Nessie's there.
Because you might see the monster.
There you go. So what? I mean, this makes sense though in theory that Sasquatch just up there disappearing people. And maybe there's like a roving gang of Sasquatches. And then once he kills the entire farm, they just take all the weed.
And that's why he's usually just chilling for the most part. He's just sitting on his Sasquatch couch, just like sitting in nature, smoking on that ganja, that good. He's got all the good weed too.
The best.
I do like how this movie is.
And shit.
Oh, absolutely. I think the best part about this trailer was that it's releasing on 4/20.
Has to.
There's no other. They waited a whole calendar year. Like, oh, we're done with editing. It's 4/21. No. We're waiting until next year, 4/20.
Elise is adding to the chat. A group of Sasquatches is called a Sasquad. Yes. And Joe wonders, do you ever think that Bigfoot is just a blurry dude? What if that's why he's blurry in pictures? I mean, I know you're kidding, but think about it this way. Like, there are theories out there that say that aliens are among us already, and they just kind of operate on a different plane of existence. Now I sound like I've been in the Sasquatch's weed stash, but that is a theory, like that they're just kind of jumping in between dimensions. And some people think that when you open your mind's eye using like DMT or mushrooms or acid or whatever, that you're actually, like, when you see things, you're opening that portal to another dimension. And maybe Sasquatch has the ability to move back and forth between dimensions.
That is some good ass weed, dude. Damn.
I hope, man, you have Sasquatch's stash, the Sasquatch.
Yeah, I was sweating listening to that. That's intense. Maybe that is real. Maybe this is some sort of time as a flat circle, jumping realities via drugs. Woo! I'm in.
I mean, you know what they say about Las Vegas. All the drugs are definitely more potent here. Definitely not cut a million ways from Sunday.
Yeah, I'm definitely the purest form you can get. There's no additives or anything like that. I would like to note someone dropped Panic Laws say, yeah, we lost Mark. So this is just a hangover, but we don't care about Mark enough to actually go look for him.
He's on the roof of one of these hotels, but I'm not sure which one. There's a mattress there.
Yeah.
And,
it's
Rick,
spring.
I hate to say this, but you're the one who's going to lose the tooth.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't need that. But and it's springtime, so it's not like the sun's too hot over in Vegas on roofs. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be all right. All right. I am at the point now with Godzilla vs. Kong that they just need to release the fucking movie. Stop showing me clips. I've probably already seen a quarter of the movie.
Welcome to my world.
Battle scenes and shit that I like. They're talking about the aircraft carrier scene that apparently is 16 minutes long, which in a movie is an eternity.
Yeah, wow.
I feel as though I've already seen a shitload of it.
Yeah, I feel like they are going to put the best parts in to get you to watch the movie, I feel. But I had this feeling that they were going to do Kong versus Godzilla, where it's like there's two different sides to it. Two teams, more or less. There's humans on both sides. But I really feel like they're going to team up in the end against some sort of other monstrous calamity that's going to, try and fuck up the entire world way worse than both of these combined.
So, yeah, first of all, there's a marketing convention going on in our chat right now. Sasquatch wearing Chumpcast merch as Chumpcast merch. Yes, agreed. Like the big Lopey in stride Sasquatch wearing a Chumpcast t-shirt. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we're making those shirts, absolutely.
Yeah, AKA we'll make Mark do it when we find him, on whatever hotel roof that he's in. Secondly, did you watch the trailer I sent you? Because that third monster is there, and maybe, you know what? Fuck it, I don't care if I spoil it. There's no spoiling a Godzilla movie, right?
Yeah, he's gonna destroy a bunch of shit, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh, Godzilla's actually helping us." Peace.
Yeah. Well, what they show at the very end of this trailer is the giant Godzilla with glowing red eyes, which obviously is Mecha Godzilla. So
Obviously,
presumably some country or underground cabal of world leaders will release this giant monster in an effort to stop Kong and Godzilla, but maybe it goes haywire or some shit, and that's the actual villain. But yeah, you were pretty much writing this as you were speculating.
yeah, not perfect. So it's not even the same. It's not Godzilla being nuked and supercharged again. It's Mecha Godzilla, different creature altogether.
I mean, I'm sure if I rewatched all the trailers and I pieced together the footage of the 50% of the movie that they've already shown, I could come up with that answer. But I think I could just wait a week and watch it on HBO Max.
Yeah, like they literally sent the trailer, and then they had like behind the scenes. Well, I'm Team Godzilla. Well, I'm Team Kong. Well, blah 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 blah. All right, just release the movie. You have it.
Yeah, and that's the kind of shit that makes me think it's not going to be very good. Is that they're really pushing hard on the marketing front. That's what makes me think there's not going to be any good word of mouth on this, and they're just hoping that everybody hops in immediately and watches.
I think that's what's going to happen anyway, because it's like a action flick. You're in there to see the destruction. You're in there to see the fight scenes. You're in there to see the CGI. The story is there, but it's not the main component. For at least in my opinion. I mean, obviously, if it's a great story, that's going to be awesome. But you're looking for the CGI, you're looking for the destruction.
Well, yes, but also it's kind of the opposite of something like Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like I woke up yesterday morning and I was like, I'm not going to get on Twitter or any of social media yet because I don't want anybody to spoil this for me. And in Godzilla, I feel like that's not really possible. Like there's no hidden plot point. There's not going to be some cameo or whatever, or some Easter egg that people are going to find before me that I'm going to care about. So that's
that's for the gods. Yeah, the Godzilla diehards. They know all of the monsters, Mothra and all that other stuff. I only know Godzilla, Mothra, King Kong. I mean, Ghidorah. I don't even really remember that one. I mean, when they explain it, I'm like, oh, dub, that's a cool ass monster. And then I still don't know that much lore of Godzilla.
Ghidorah was the one in the last one that had all the different heads. That was the one that got out at the end. That's King Ghidorah.
Yeah, that one was cool. I like that one.
I don't know why I can remember shit like that. Like I have a steel trap of memory for useless pop culture shit like that. That movie was not memorable at all. It was fine. And I remember seeing it in the theater and like, wow, this is good for the spectacle of it, but not actually caring about the movie.
Godzilla.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. This is a full 180 from the movie we just talked about. Concrete Cowboy, which is coming to Netflix in the near future. This is starring Idris Elba, Caleb McLaughlin, excuse me, who is making kind of a name for himself. You'll recognize him as I can't remember his name in Stranger Things, but he's one of the main characters, and now he's actually starting to get acting roles because he's like turning into an adult. And I feel like Finn Wolfhard, as soon as they hit puberty, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, their acting careers like in turbo mode.
Yeah. Well, it was Lucas from
Thank you.
Stranger Things. And yeah, they are getting some good roles. I mean, Millie Bobby Brown's literally in Godzilla, the last movie we were talking about. This movie looks powerful. Like I like the coming of age tale, father and son. Idris Elba is going to be I feel like a hard-nosed but like great mentor, but he's like rough and gritty. And I just like Idris Elba in that role. I think Lucas, aka Caleb McLaughlin, is going to be good in that role, in like an angsty teen, but he's like at that age where he's trying to like grow up and be a man. I think he's going to play good, like trying to, I don't know, not listen to Idris Elba is what it kind of, but he wants to listen to him, but he's like, just Idris Elba isn't giving him the life that he wants, even though Idris Elba seems like he's doing what he can. So this movie looks interesting and it looks very dramatic. It is it's a drama, but I'm in on it.
I had no clue that this was a real place. This is based on a true story, and apparently this is in Philly, in Pennsylvania, which I never would have guessed. I could see maybe New York or something, but the idea is it's present day, but these guys are still these black men in Philly are still like cowboys. They still ride horses everywhere. They do like ranching type shit, and that's something you wouldn't expect to see. And Caleb McLaughlin is presumably Idris Elba's son, or at least he has to take over taking care of him. And McLaughlin is, trying to grow up as a normal kid instead of a cowboy, and Idris Elba ain't having it. This was like a Toronto International Film Festival movie. Kind of makes me think it'll be like a little bit fart sniffy, but that's okay. This is coming April 2nd.
On Netflix.
Correct. So I'll check it out. It looks like it has a lot of potential, and like you said, it'll be a very serious, focus movie. But
yeah, good cast. Tom Selleck's in it.
I mean, if you're gonna have a mustache in your movie, why not have the best?
If you're gonna have cowboys, yeah, he's definitely the cowboy.
All right, Brick. I found the best parts of Wonder Woman 1984, and it was definitely in the blooper reel.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is what deal with a demon or a god or whatever that Chris Pine made to be so handsome and fucking charming all at once. It's infuriating.
He's awesome. I love Chris Pine. I've always loved Chris Pine. He's my boy. I don't know what it is. He's so relaxed and chill and funny, and just like, it just seems like he's just being himself up there, which is fantastic and
unfair.
He's got it all. Honestly, he's
super rich, famous, handsome, charming, working with one of the most beautiful women on the planet in Gal Gadot, and just like making her laugh constantly, turning to the camera with his piercing eyes and his this beautiful gaze, and I just don't get it.
He does have a extremely high charisma score. Shout out Peanut Butter and Jellies right there. He literally is. I'm at a loss for words and he can just explain what I'm saying in my brain. That's Chris Pine.
So Joe's in the chat asking what class will Chris Pine's character be in the D&D movie.
Oh my God, amazing.
Bard, just because he'll be super charming and his charisma will be through the roof. Yeah, definitely like a half elf bard. Aren't elves supposed to be super beautiful and attractive?
Elf
eyes.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like. I believe that's the case. I don't know. You don't think he's going to be like a fighter, a charismatic fighter? I don't see him being a bard.
He can sing though, can he? I'm
not sure about that. I mean, if he can sing, he's the perfect human being. Let's come on. He might be able to do it, but I don't know.
I have full faith in Chris Pine. I would elect this man president tomorrow because I think that he just gets shit done.
Yeah. Speaking of completely different tangent here, have you seen the Young Rock show?
Yeah, but it's definitely on my list.
The Rock is running for president in like 2034 or whatever, and he's like going in and doing all these interviews, but then it's about his past and like just kind of hardships and struggles that he went through. I really like it. It's only 4 episodes in, but like, I think he's actually running for president too. I just got a feeling he's actually gonna. This is the start of his political campaign starting right now.
I mean, if you want to talk about charisma, there's your segue, is the amount of charisma that it takes to have pretty much. I mean, do you know anybody who says I don't like The Rock? Because I don't.
No, everybody loves The Rock.
Have an opinion of him, it's never negative.
Yeah, because he's the absolute man, nicest guy. He's the man. He's the best.
Just a thought, but back to the blooper reel. I need every movie to do this. I need the most serious movies out there, like I want the Nomadland blooper reel. Just because when people are in their actual element, I feel like you go from this super serious, focused acting brain to like trying to alleviate tension. And I feel like that's probably where the funniest shit on the planet happens.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The more serious the movie is, usually the funnier I feel like the bloopers would be, because it's like you're in this serious moment and someone just got murdered, and all of a sudden you like pick up a banana and something weird happens and everybody starts laughing. It's just like the bloopers are the best part. It's organic, it's real, it's makes people feel human again.
So in recent weeks, we've been talking about how they're going to start adding like DVD commentary type stuff to streaming services. We got to bring this back.
Yeah.
I don't know where the demand, like who do we need like a change.org petition? You know, they have this footage. Just put it out. It's free press.
Bring bloopers back.
Yeah, agreed.
That made me almost want to watch Wonder Woman 84. Wonder Woman 44 would have been better too, because then they could have done World War II.
Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah, well, they could have done World War II. That probably would have been the next best jump, considering it was World War I the first time. I'm not saying, just saying.
Yeah, Elise makes a good point in the chat. When animated movies go out of their way to make their blooper reel, because they have the audio, but then they just have to animate, the actual interaction from the characters. Yeah, the Toy Story ones are the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah, Mo's in the chat saying that too. Where they just crack up laughing and Tom Hanks is just being charming. God damn it. Now I'm just mad that I'm not more charming.
Yeah, you don't have an ounce of charm.
I really don't.
Yeah, it is what it is.
On to another charming news segment. Humperdink Bumblesnatch, my favorite guy, has signed on for another role as a magician, but this will not be as Doctor Strange, nor will it be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is based on a true story. This, I feel like, is right up your alley, Brick. The movie is called War Magician, and it's going to be directed by Colin Trevorrow, who has done the last couple Jurassic Park movies. Not a fan of that, but whatever. So Cumberbatch plays Jasper Maskelyne, who is a real-life British magician during World War II and reportedly used these illusions. These illusions, they're not tricks, Michael. But he was using it to help fight Nazis in World War II. I have no fucking idea how your up-close magic makes you fight Nazis or helps you fight Nazis, but I am 100% in for this.
And is this your card, sir? I am all in on this. I had no idea, but close-up magic. We also need to get a drop for tricks are what a whore does for money, Michael. Put that in there.
I was reading the story, and that's the only thing that could come to mind is Joe Bluth. So according to this report from Deadline, it follows not just our guy Humperdink, but also an international magic gang from Africa, Europe, and the Middle East who conspired with a female military intelligence offer to defeat the Nazis. There's a book about this that apparently this is drawn from. I think the less I know about this going into it, the happier I'll be and the more excited I will be.
That's me on most movies. I got to go in there with low expectations, but this one I already have high expectations. Do you know what the Nazis love? Magic. We can wait. Why are we sending bullets when we have all of these magic capes? We can, if we all walked out there with capes, they would not shoot and they'd be like, "What's going on over here? Show me your magic."
If in this movie there's not a scene where one of the magicians is cornered by Nazis and he reaches into his sleeve to pull out a white flag, but then just keeps pulling out handkerchiefs and just makes them all die laughing, then I don't know what we're even doing here.
Yeah, no, or he somehow does a magic trick where he pulls out a gun and shoots like 5 people, kind of like in the scene of the Deer Hunter, where he's like, maybe he's trapped and he's as a Nazi prisoner, and he kind of wins him over with a little magic, little coins on the hand.
Let's keep pulling on this thread. All right, so he's wearing a top hat, and he takes the top hat out, pulls a rabbit out of his hat, and it's the rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and it just attacks and murders everybody.
Good rabbit. That's a good trick. It's hard to beat that one. What are other classic magic tricks? The disappearing
flower
man.
Okay, there you go. And he's really just hiding behind a mirror.
Yeah, where'd he go? We must find that magician.
He's got a flower on his lapel, and instead of it shooting water when the Nazi comes in to sniff it, it just shoots a bullet or acid.
I like it. Or there's no mustard gas in World War II, so he couldn't get like gas and turn into the Joker. So never mind.
Yeah, literally just any of the Joker's bits work here.
Yeah.
No. Hitler's right-hand magician will be in it, and there will be a wizard fight. Yeah, this is actually just leading into the next Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
So.
Hitler, you have to see this magician. He's amazing. Bring him forth. I love Hitler.
I'm sorry, I had to just once.
Best. We the best. Worst.
The worst. She's the worst person in the world. Huge skank, terrible. But thank you.
I've tried to eliminate that drop from my lexicon, but that was perfect. When you started pulling out your German accent, I had to. All right, I've got a worst person alive and a best person alive, so I think I will sandwich whatever story you want to do.
Okay.
And you were familiar with my first story, which is Rafaela Spone, who is a 50-year-old woman in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. This is probably the most fucked up dystopian story you can think of, because this woman was mad at her daughter's friends and decided to literally deepfake them into pictures and videos. These high school girls, just deepfake them into situations where they were like drinking and partying and doing drugs and being naked on the beach, which, like, the naked part, when you start talking about high school people, now you're in felony territory. And there are all these apps that are coming out now that are making deepfakes. Like, it's an app on your phone. As soon as you can put a deepfake app on your phone, we're all fucked, right?
Well, yeah, I guess, but like, how dumb and absolutely pathetic do you have to be to make something like this, and then to not have the expectation that your daughter is going to be absolutely ruined after that, if any of this would ever get out? And it's a fake video of this. Like, people are going to be like, I easily deny it because it didn't happen. So the fact, like, I can only imagine going to school the next day after all this gets released. And during high school, your life is ruined. There's no other way around it.
It alleges that the daughter had nothing to do with it. Even despite that, the girl's still fucked for several reasons. One, her mom is going to federal prison.
Right.
Two, everybody now knows this, and even if you try to deny it, nobody's going to believe you.
Yeah. And your friends are going to hate. Yeah. Your friends that you got deep faked. It was because she was on a cheerleading team and her cheerleading friends were like more popular or something. What was the reasoning behind it? Or
apparently they just didn't like her. So sure, whatever. And I get, like, as a father, like, you want your kid to be in the best situation at all times. But I feel like as soon as you start dragging other people down in order to do that, you strayed from the path.
Yeah, maybe get them all tickets to see a movie or something cool that they want to do. Do something fun with them. Don't try and ruin people's lives in high school. It's just like petty and pathetic on the mom's part, trying to almost live vicariously through her daughter to a point where she has to be helping and have a hand in everything. If anything, that just made the relationship with the daughter much significantly worse.
Instead of worrying about canceling Dr. Seuss or whatever politicians are bitching about now, maybe you need to try and figure out some laws to restrict this type of thing before you end up with some kind of hellish dystopian landscape
of everyone saying you did this. This is like the Salem witch trials all over again, but now it's like with technology.
Yeah, everybody. Also, this is someone who thought that she was a genius. And apparently, like, even though you think you're a genius, you don't understand metadata and how that works, because every file that's ever created has some kind of bookmark or watermark, that you can see in the background, that you can see the source of this information. So if you're so smart that you can try deepfake this stuff, but you don't know that side of things, then maybe you belong in prison.
Yeah. No, she's a dumb idiot. That was just literally pathetic.
All right, Brick, what do you got?
So we're gonna do a little finance with Smithers here.
Oh boy.
So quick question: what are
finance fun with Smithers?
Great job.
Mark,
So we're talking about NFTs. Can you explain what NFTs are?
no.
Okay, you can't.
An NFT is short for a non-fungible token, and it's essentially the same idea as Bitcoin or any kind of e-coin that's built on the blockchain. Blockchain is like a buzzword that's thrown around so much nowadays, but what it essentially is used for is validating individuality or constraining something to a certain number of, like, for example, Bitcoin. There's a finite amount of Bitcoin, whereas if you compare that to like the US dollar, they can print or destroy currency at any point in time, and it just changes the total the total overall store of that.
Right.
So the NFT thing is now being applied, or I'm sorry, blockchain is now being applied to these NFTs to ensure validity, I guess, for lack of a better term. So the big one right now is Top Shot, right? And it's basically NBA trading cards for players or moments. And there's only one of each. Well, no, that's not true. There are multiples of each one, but there's still a fixed amount. And what it's trying to do is apply essentially a copyright to a digital version of something.
Like they're creating their own scarcity, and that's a big derelict thing. I can derelict my own balls. Thank you very much. You like can get these gifts now for like is that right? Like Top Shot?
Yeah. They're like short videos.
Right. And so like, oh, it's just like John Wall making a 2-point jump shot, or some of them are dunks and like stuff like that. But it's basically what you're saying. NFTs are just, non-fungible tokens. So this guy decided, this New York man started recording his farts during quarantine, the Year of Farts Master Collection. And he started selling them as that and joining the NFT craze and just selling farts for $85. And apparently people are buying this. The value, it's just, apparently he's claiming it as art. So he's just farting into a fart mic, and selling it on this as NFTs. And so now he's just one calendar year of recorded farts from March to March, and just naming them and selling them. And it's hilarious. And it's apparently working.
OpenSea is generally where you see stuff like this, and there are actual artists out there that are putting together pieces technically that will be of limited availability. Like I saw Boss Logic started posting some stuff there, and if you're really good at it, then sure. I still don't understand how you don't just like take a screen grab of it and share it with everybody. Like everybody can see it. So what makes you think that you have ownership of it?
Good question. I don't know about the limited scarcity of these farts either. If he's selling just one copy, or if he's selling multiple, like the tops are. But this guy's, I don't know, a brilliant psycho idiot that just is selling farts. I'm just flabbergasted. Flabbergas. Pun poorly intended.
Good enough. I mean, my dad always said, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
This guy's eating baked beans for life. Can we bring up a picture? I think I have a picture in the Chump cord here of what the guy.
A picture of this, and he looks like the kind of guy who would be selling his farts online. Yeah, that's probably profiling, but I'm okay with that. This is the guy We said he looks like a mixture of Kenny and Spenny. Is that right?
I could see that. Aggressive stash too.
Mouth slightly agape at all times. Probably looks like he's wet constantly.
Yeah, he's just saying fart coins. Look at the coin inscription there. It's just a guy absolutely blowing gas.
That might be the best part of this. I mean, he knows what he's about, and I admire that. You know, that's half the battle.
This guy was so ahead of his time that he's like, I'm going to fart into him like every day. I'm going to eat baked beans every day, and then I'm going to sell them as NFTs.
Yeah.
That is some spare time.
I got one more story for you. This one's a little bit lighter than my first one, where we're deep faking young people. So this is the most relatable thing, I think, of all time. A woman, and this comes to us from Facebook. I saw this on Gizmodo. This woman held a first birthday party for the road construction that had been going on directly outside of her house for a year. And I'm going to flip through these pictures. She's got balloons and a cake. She made a, you can see here a little backhoe mini thing that has been tearing up her street. She made a cake that is essentially a recreation of this scene out in front of her house. And do you think that, Brick, this is going to make the city speed up a little bit to get this job done? Or do you think that they'll just be petty enough that they'll be like, nah, fuck this?
No, they want a year 2 anniversary cake, because if you get one, why would you not want cake in another year? So yeah, no, it's funny on her end, but also did she give the cake to the construction workers? That might help speed up the process.
I mean, would you? Aren't you pissed at the construction workers? I'm not giving cake to somebody I'm pissed off at.
I don't know. Maybe it's like an offering to hurry the fuck up. I don't know.
I don't know about all that, but I commend stuff like that, because no, it doesn't really hurt anything. It's still making light of a situation, and it's, you know, at no one's expense directly, I suppose. And everybody knows that feeling. It's super relatable.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice petty.
I just want everybody to be happy all the time, Brick. I just want people to stop being so mean.
That works. Yeah, everyone be nice. ELE. Everybody love everybody. That is one fart coin. That's where the guy you bought his fart coin. You bought his audio and put it in our show.
I would argue that fart drop has been around longer than the NFT craze.
I don't know, man.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. This guy said it was an anonymous buyer. Okay.
There you go. Two things that I want to clean up really quick. First of all, the mom creating the deepfake story came to us from Daryl in our Discord. So shout out Daryl. We appreciate those of you who drop in ridiculous news stories, because then we can later use them and discuss them. Also, I need to plug before I forget, the girls from the Relatable podcast, Relatable with Kyra and Ilsa, had Mark and I join them for their episode earlier this week, and they're about to launch their second season of their show. They are available on Spotify and other podcast platforms. Super cool girls, very fun to talk to. They're into the same kind of stuff that we are. So we joined them on Thursday, did a live stream, and their show will drop Monday. You can find them on Instagram and all that with at Relatable Pod. And they're very cool. So I tried to get Kyra to join us this morning, but it was super last minute. I was messaging her last night like, hey, sorry.
If you have a moment.
Minute, but yeah. But I digress.
She's not here. Yeah.
All right.
Checks out.
We'll have him on soon, I promise. All right.
Yeah, no, I was in that live stream. It was fun. You guys said it was a good time. They do seem pretty dope.
They are. Okay. So on to our movie review of the week. This is a movie called Happily. I just think that had we tried to do the Snyder Cut, one, we knew Mark wasn't going to be here, and two, the movie is 4 hours long. I've sat down and tried to watch it twice now, and I'm still only about halfway through it.
Wow. Yeah. And
you started?
No, I haven't started. I haven't had time for that. Yeah, Mark, the weasel that he is, tried to get out of the Snyder Cut episode by going to Las Vegas. He planned it out perfectly.
But we got him. He was here last week, and he was like, no, we absolutely have to review the Snyder Cut. And he already knew that he wasn't going to be on the episode because that's Mark.
He's the DC guy. He's got to be present during the review. We would just shit on it the whole time, regardless of if it's actually good or not.
That's what he was probably trying to get out of. He also wanted time to see how people were going to react to the Snyder Cut, because if it was going to be bad, he probably his ego would not have been able to take that.
Yeah, this is the deep play. He's playing the long con on us.
So instead, we watched a different movie that also released yesterday, and it's called Happily. This is currently at 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, 60% from fans. Directed by a guy named Ben David Grabinski. Ben David, one word. Reminds me of Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no space name. One word. Yes, the law firm.
One of the best nicknames ever in football. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis does sound like a law firm. It's so good.
It's pretty spot on. But yeah, no, it's literally BEN capital DAVID.
I mean, if your name is just Ben and you're probably trying to stand out a little bit, Grabinski's not a super it's not like his name is Ben Smith or Ben Johnson, but still, I get it. This is his directorial debut. Although he's written some things, like he's written on the Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot. And the more I read about this guy, the more it made sense in the context of this movie, because apparently he's a comedy writer, but also a big fan of things like The Twilight Zone, which, as we get into the movie, will make even more sense.
Very Twilight Zone-esque, like Black Mirror, with all the cuts and edits made it have a little bit of levity. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was here for it. I liked it. I thought Jack Black was in this movie. When I first saw it, he's actually a producer. Mm-hmm. He's a producer. I really wish he would have made a cameo. That would have been great. I love Jack Black. That's the only reason I wanted a cameo. So
I do too. All right, let me get the synopsis out of the way, then we can get into the movie.
Please.
So, after 14 years of marriage, our main characters, Tom and Janet, still love each other, can't keep their hands off each other. They're always they go to parties with their friends and they go to the bathroom to bang each other and stuff.
Come on. I mean, I get it. Even if you're dating someone for the first day, don't go to your friend's house and bang in the bathroom when it's you could just do that on your own time. This is to hang out with your friends.
Quick story. In college, basically something like this happened to me. It was and it makes a lot more sense when you're in college than it does when you're presumably 40 or whatever. But
right.
My bedroom at my first apartment in college was right next to the bathroom door, and I knew that there were two people in there. And this is a person who we both know very well, and it will remain nameless
until after the show. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm pounding on the door. I'm come on, just go home. And if you want to do that shit, I'm fine with it. Just don't do it in my bathroom. Right. And
we're going to fuck on your toothpaste, Smithers.
I mean, right. But I hear some rustling, and out comes the guy. He opens the door. He's like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. And I walk into the bathroom and I open the door under the sink, and the girl is hiding under my sink.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say he walked out with a toothbrush in his ass. Just
we're in the celery.
Yeah. Nothing's going on here.
What are you talking about, man? Yeah, not quite, but that's my story from that scenario. Anyways, I don't even remember if I finished the synopsis. Oh, no. Basically, what happens is what we were just talking about, where all the other couples that you hang out with hate you because you're super annoying. You can't keep your hands off each other, and you just resent these people because they have these constant displays of affection in public. But the friends basically come out. They're going away for a weekend for a quick vacation at an Airbnb at a mansion. Okay. And they uninvite our main characters, Tom and Janet, who are played also, I should mention, by Joel McHale and Kerry Bishe. And they change their mind after Stephen Root, who I love Stephen Root. I will watch him in literally anything. He shows up at their house. And if you've seen the trailer, none of this is a spoiler, but he's basically saying, you guys are broken. The two of you in your relationship, something went wrong. You were not born with the correct genes that make you hate each other after you have been married for 14 years. He offers them compensation and a syringe that will quote unquote fix them. So there's the premise for this movie. After Stephen Root shows up, Carrie Bishe kills him, or she thinks she does, and they're re-invited to this weekend getaway.
And then they, like, I guess the mystery ensues because they don't know if that guy was real. They don't know if this guy, like the guy's saying he operates on a different plane. He's bigger and he's like the big, they don't even know this organization even exists. Like that's the kind of what he's explaining. Like he's like this Illuminati guy who's like, you guys can't be happy. And the syringe would basically be like, all right, yeah, you're going to basically fall out of love with this person that you're madly in love with for 14 years. And you guys have sex 2.5 times a day, which is aggressive. So there's like a lot of dark comedy in here. I wouldn't say a lot. There is dark comedy in here. And it, like you said, it is a very Twilight Zone-esque style, where it's like mysterious and it's like otherworldly because of the, I guess, more or less, because they are, yeah, exactly. And they are so in love, and it is, they are annoying, in my opinion, about how in love they are. And after 14 years, that is kind of like we said earlier, don't fuck in somebody else's bathroom if you have your own bathroom that you can just, like, you're gonna hang out with your friends for 4 hours. Maybe don't spend 2 hours of it banging in their bathroom. I would hate them too. I wouldn't invite them anywhere. Like, fuck them. They're brutal.
Back to your point about the comedy, though, I really did not understand the point of this movie. Like, was there a message behind it? Because what it devolves into is they show up at this house for the weekend, and the rest of the couples are all being, I don't know, deceptive in some way. And eventually our main characters call them out like, hey, did you guys turn us in or something, or set us up? Or like, is this a prank? And it just kind of it escalates the tension, and it turns into kind of a whodunit without any kind of real resolution
Right. There isn't a resolution. Good point. Everyone just hates each other at the end of it, which is, I guess, the opposite of what the movie's called, happily. Yeah, I guess the no resolution, I didn't really mind the no resolution because it is just mysterious and
because
probably a good idea.
Yeah, you said you liked this, right? Like you said you were here for it. Why?
I just thought the concept was very interesting, and the mystery behind it was intriguing. And so I liked all the actors. I thought the actors, they all had their own little unique stuff that they brought to the table, and it made the movie interesting and eerie. And I think they did a good job with the score and the levity behind the score, because they have all these intense background music to things that I guess are like that are happening, and like, but they also add levity by cutting it short or having something else, pop up in a different, unique way. So it wasn't like this dark, super dark mystery. It was like they had levity in it, but I just liked the score behind it, and I liked the intrigue of the whole story behind it.
It's got a star-studded cast if you're into kind of subversive comedy, I would say. So obviously you got Joel McHale, Kerry Bishe, Stephen Root, who we already mentioned. Paul Scheer is
your boy.
Fairly large character in this. Yes, I tweeted to him that I loved seeing him in a Speedo in, what was the name of that movie?
No Speedo. Yeah, no Speedo in this one. Shit, now I really need to know what that movie was called.
Whatever. Also, somebody I've been seeing a lot of lately is Natalie Morales. And I think the first time I ever saw her was in Parks and Rec, because she ends up marrying Tom Haverford. Spoiler.
Exactly.
She's done a lot of like background supporting roles lately, and I feel like she's starting to ramp up her career a lot. So I'm here for that.
She is. She was great in this. She played the fence really well. I thought, she's like I said, they had some intriguing characters, and the whole premise behind it too is like this couple that's super annoying, and then they have a group of friends that likes them but hates them because of just the way they are. So she kind of
hated.
Say what?
I thought they just hated all of them. Hated them, but like she's married to John Daly, who, if you've ever seen Kroll's show, was kind of like Nick Kroll's sidekick.
Right.
Kirby Howell Baptiste was in The Good Place most recently. She was Chidi's girlfriend for a while. Charlene Yee shows up as the same creepy short character in everything. We had Breckin Meyer, who I don't understand why Breckin Meyer was in this movie. He barely did anything ever.
He did a puzzle, and that was about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and something else that we won't mention because it'd be a spoiler, but was also kind of fucked up. I will always, every time I see him, I'll be like, oh man, I remember the time that I was interviewing him and I inadvertently insulted him like to the core. Because
what'd you say?
He was on, when we did the first Mainframe, he was on a panel talking about Robot Chicken because he's one of the driving factors behind it. And what I didn't know is that he was one of the writers. And basically, I directed a question to Seth Green and one of the other writers, and I said, "So, like, you guys are the brains behind this. Like, you do all the writing." And Breckin Meyer was right there, and I mean, it wasn't just like immediately Seth Green jumped on it. It was like, "Yeah, we're definitely the creative brains behind this." And they start ripping on Breckin Meyer. I felt fucking terrible about it, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, oopsie. Research.
Yeah, so we've also got Shannon Woodward, who was in Raising Hope and most recently, I think, Westworld. But yeah, and Al Madrigal, another person a stand-up comedian, Al Madrigal, who's in a ton of stuff and is in this movie for no apparent reason. He never adds anything to it.
He's the single friend that gets like left out because he got divorced.
30 seconds.
I know. I wish they would have had more of him in there because I think he's pretty funny.
Well,
by the way,
I liked this.
Yeah,
because I didn't.
You didn't like it, really?
Oh, okay. So they do this thing where they have a lot of really interesting ideas in the first two acts, and even if you're not going to fully resolve it by the end of the movie, you need to drop enough breadcrumbs that the viewer can make some sort of assertion as to what's going to happen, or like what the point of the movie was, or what's going to happen to these characters after the fact. They left nothing for this. I'm fine with not having a final conclusion, but you have to give me something that's going to direct me where to think of what I think, the logical explanation for all this was. And they did none of that.
Yeah, they left it very open-ended. I guess that would be one of the problems that I had with it. I think I also wish it was a little funnier. With the cast they had, they could have really made this funnier. It was a dark comedy, but more dark than it was comedy. And I was really expecting a little bit more in terms of the humor. It was background, and it was dry, very dry humor. But it was just situational.
That's the other thing, though. Is you've got Joel McHale, who can deliver the driest lines ever, and you watch it and you're starting to think that it's satire, but then they lead down these paths that are serious, and it kind of pulls from the dry sense of humor. Like, part of the ongoing themes of this was that they love each other so much that they immediately forgive each other for everything. And every time Joel McHale looks to the camera and says, "I forgive you," it gives me Jeff Winger vibes, where he's being super sarcastic. Mm-hmm. And they didn't build on that at all. The rest of this was he's the straight man. He's serious about everything.
Yeah, which there was something off about it, which added to the Twilight Zone effect, but I wanted more comedy. So there was a lot of things like she murdered somebody. I forgive you. And it was like, that's
like a tight shot of his face just going immediately, "I forgive you."
Yeah, no, they could have done a lot more with that concept as like she murdered somebody. But like, I don't know, I liked the eerie aspect of it was intriguing, and the whole concept was intriguing. I guess no resolve at the very end, and it could have been funnier. But that's pretty much all I have to say about this movie.
Yeah, you do have that Big Brother vibe as well, like somebody's always watching.
Right.
That I believe added to the suspense of it. But if I got to rate this, I'm gonna say skip it.
I'm gonna say save it, because it wasn't like mine. It wasn't like I'm like gripped and it's super engaging the entire time. I wanted more. I wanted more from it.
Yeah, it like I said, it has a lot of really interesting ideas in the first and second act. Just doesn't follow up in the end, and I'm mad that I wasted $6 to rent it.
Yeah, no, that's a bummer. It's
Erica
on
hated
Amazon Prime. Oh, she didn't like it? Okay.
No, she hated it. All right, let's do our recommendations so we can wrap this up. Did you play anything this week?
Well, the new Captain America and Falcon, I watched those. It was 50 minutes. It was awesome. I loved it. Did you watch it?
I did, and we later today, I think maybe we'll do a Patreon exclusive breakdown because I've got some things to say about it. I'm way more excited about this than I was about WandaVision.
Sure.
I don't know why. I saw the first episode of this and thought back to how I felt after I watched the first WandaVision, and this has, to me, way more potential.
Right. Did you watch the Legends on Disney Plus that gives you a full wrap up of how they got there?
No, but I kind of.
It's so worth it.
Okay, I should watch that then. I just kind of felt like I didn't need it. Like I know these characters, but maybe I should check that.
You don't need it, but it's fantastic because you obviously you want as much Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier as much as possible. So they have 4 new like 7 or 8 minute clips on there that really set up everything perfectly. So then you, rather than a 50-minute episode, you got an hour and a half, and they go into great detail and they skip right to the good stuff. And I got chills watching it because of you see how everything came together to that point through the first 3 phases, and these characters and how they got built and where they are now. Watch it. It's fucking great. They're so good.
The action is insane. And they bring back a character. I won't mention it because it might be a spoiler, but they don't call him by his name, his character name. I remember because I've talked in the past about how I always have the subtitles on just because I'm used to it. But the subtitles were of the actor's name instead of the character's name. And I don't know why that would be, but
like the actual actor's name.
Yes. I'll tell you about it when we're off air, but I wanted to mention that Invincible, the animated cartoon that's coming to Amazon Prime based on the comic book from Robert Kirkman, episodes 1 and 2 are coming this Friday. Very excited for that. It's a great comic book, and I feel like based on the trailers we've seen and the voice cast of Stephen Yeun and J.K. Simmons, along with others like Jason Mantzoukas is in it, I feel like this is going to be good. And I hope it follows kind of like The Boys in a set universe. It has a lot of the same beats where it's subversive. It's not your typical, every superhero is a good guy type thing. Mm-hmm. So very excited for that.
Yeah, no, those trailers that they released look awesome. I'm in on it too.
And the animation, I feel like, will allow you to do things with a smaller budget that you couldn't really do in something like The Boys. So we'll see. Right.
And did you read that comic book series or no?
Yes. Elise is in the chat. She's our local comic book retailer. They're releasing single issues of Invincible at comic shops. So go get that shit for the authentic experience. I would agree with that. It's excellent comic. Check it out. And it's all wrapped up. It's been wrapped up for years. So they're not going to throw something crazy at you and leave you hanging. And they're not going to pass, like they're not going to do the Game of Thrones where they pass the actual
writer
lore. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with The Walking Dead where they pass that like 4 seasons. But all right, let's wrap this up. Thank you for tuning in. This has been episode 238 of the Chumpcast. Live from Las Vegas.
Yeah. Maybe go find Mark now, I guess.
Next week. Who knows?
We'll go find him, hopefully, maybe. Who knows?
Mark, how you doing back there?
This has been Finance Fun with Smithers.
Okay, he's still alive. We're good.
Okay, checks out.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. You can find us on all social media platforms at the Chumpcast. Check out our Twitch and YouTube channels. We played, so a couple people were out, but we were tired of not playing D&D. So we played last Tuesday, and we played, at one point I had to step away from the camera for about 5 minutes because I was crying laughing. That's how stupid things got. Colin played a character who was essentially the cleaning lady from Family Guy. Her name was La Padula. And it was, like I said, it made me cry from laughing. So check that out. We'll presumably be back this Tuesday night. And until next time.
Chums up, motherfucker. Ciao, bella. Peace.